Say hello. Come and say hello and then go.
Hello and bye-bye. And I want to speak into the speaker.
Hi, my name is Pastor David Ewagata and this is Ewagata Unchained. Today we have Pastor Jem. Pastor Jem. Jem. Mrs.
Ameka.
So how long have you been married?
It will be 4 years in January.
It will be 4 years in January.
Yeah.
So it's 3 years.
And 9 months.
The marriages of
You
nowadays.
have to count.
People are counting dates. Is it joyful counting or is it this is how long I've been in a prison sentence?
It's excitement. Oh my God, we've made it this far. Other people are not making it past 1 year, so it's exciting.
So you guys are like 1.59 goals. So let me ask you about roles in marriage. I know there's things that you are taught in PMCC and then there's the realities on the ground. What would you say about roles in marriage?
I think it's different. We've had to figure out a couple of things. One of the things is what you come with into the marriage from your family.
Mm-hmm.
So his family, there's a way they do things. For my family, there's a way they do things. Mm-hmm. Then the generational gap. So you have to get to a point where you figure out, okay, for me, I grew up knowing that this is what dads do, this is what moms do, but our realities are different. Like for example, you grew up, you were taught that dads are supposed to provide, but what happens when your dad is not in a position to provide? Then your mother has to kind of step up. But what does that look like in the actual home setting? Does it mean that now that the woman is a provider, then now the man is only supposed to submit, or how does that play out?
You're supposed to wash the dishes, cook, garden, and wait up late at night.
Yes. To warm my food for me when I come back from work. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. But it's just realizing that, yes, there are challenges just because of how society is structured now, but there's still that way that God intended marriage to work. When you're talking about husbands loving your wives, when you're talking about wives submitting to your husbands, all those things are just because of how we've been created. It's not necessarily the things happening around us. Yeah. It's not cultural. It's intrinsic. This is how a man thinks. This is how a woman thinks. There are things that women are naturally better at than men. So
yeah, that rumor has been going on for quite a while. Women are naturally better than men, but hey,
not in everything. In some things, we need men in this world. We need you guys. We can't survive by ourselves.
So what's been your highlight in getting married?
There are many things. I think it's just exciting to have somebody who's there with you, and like when this, you'll piss me off, but we're gonna figure it out. It's me and you against the world. So for me, he's my dear diary. Like I come and bounce off everything on him. I start talking from the door, because sometimes being a pastor is a lot. You carry everybody's burdens. You're dealing with people's issues. So I usually start unwinding from the door. As I'm removing my shoes, I'm just speaking, and it helps me kind of deal with some of the issues that I have to carry for other people.
So thankfully he's a quiet guy, so he just
listens.
Tell you.
And he's learned. Most guys usually are ready with with solutions to your problems. But he knows when I'm talking, I don't need your solutions. I know what I need to do. I just need to talk. So just sit there, listen, and backward.
So all he needs to do is just go like after every like 5-7 minutes.
I'm like, oh wow. He's really managed to figure that out. Sometimes I know he's not even listening, but I'm like, it's important that I speak.
But it's just a default setting we put, like it's like this is when the bell rings, after 4 minutes, then you keep quiet. If you notice, like she's noticing you're not there, you say, "Oh, really?
Something.
Yeah, oh, really?"
Ask a question.
So, how? You just ask her randomly, like how. Then for the next 15 minutes that covers.
How did that make you feel?
And that's a counseling question. Just ask how, because you don't have to get into it completely. So, in terms of marriage, lots of young people are, getting in and out. It's like it's like an escalator. You just climb and you reach the top and you walk away. Everyone in their own direction. What makes it different for you that you're almost at 4 years? I know some of people have come in and come out almost immediately. What would you say is the problem?
I think it's just society in general. We have a very selfish way of looking at things, and it's about my feelings, my needs, my wants. So if I'm not happy, I'm done. But that's not what marriage is about. And even if you read the Bible and the explanation of marriage, it talks about Christ dying on behalf of the church. Most men are about, what can she give me? Or she's not serving my needs, or she's not doing this, she's not doing that. But it paints a picture of something more sacrificial. And for the woman, when it talks about submission, that's not an easy thing to do. But when those things come together, something amazing is birthed out of it. So like for me, one of the things that people bring up is how I serve him all the time. So we'll go to an event, and before I eat my food, I'd go and serve him first, and then I'll come and sit down. And he's just like, we're doing the same things. Like he can serve himself.
It's actually added weight, actually.
Yes. Yeah. I'm doing good work.
That's interesting because squeezing could sort. Just go serve your food. No, baba. Kalaini kako pale.
We're eating before you married me, so you should know how to do it yourself.
If you didn't die before I met you, you will live. And it's the scenario of life. So and especially when you're saying, finding those roles, finding that balance, being able to serve, even when both of you are capable and strong. The question I want to ask is, what about when you're earning more money? And I know this is a big thing, or we are not even earning more money, but you're financially independent. He may be earning his, you're earning yours, but then you know that if I walk out, it will not sink my life or my lifestyle. How does that affect marriage for young people today?
I think that's a really sad thing, because one of the things that we need to realize is if you're getting into this marriage, there's no his and hers. It's you're bringing your resources, you're bringing your ideas, you're bringing your lives together.
But that's old school, man. That's those days of we put all the money together. Nowadays, it's your money is our money and my money is my money, and that's for the woman's side, The husband's money is our money, but my money is my money. Akachama over here, account on the side, have a little plot you're buying and building, so that in case the day foolishness hits the fan, you're good to go.
You're sorted. I think that's one of the problems, because if you get into a situation without an exit plan, you will kind of have to work to make it work. But if you're getting into something already making plans for when it fails, then it means you're not investing all of you into that space. And that's probably one of the reasons that our marriages today fail. It's because we already have an exit plan. You got into this thinking that, so and so this happened, so and so, you see men do this, you see women think like this. So by the time you're coming together, you're two people who are coexisting for a period of time. It's not a commitment you've actually made. It's until it doesn't work for me and I'm ready to go. And then you're holding your pieces. Yeah. You're not putting everything on the table. That's interesting that you say, we come in with an option of exit. There was a great military man whose idea of war was to make sure that when they cross a bridge, they burn it down. I can't remember the name, but what that did for the soldiers, Napoleon. I think burnt the ships. You reach on dock, and the guy is like, "Okay, guys, set those things on fire." And the moment there's no way back, there's no way out. Right. The way you fight is very different. Yeah. And so he says, once you cross this line, burn the bridges. Once you land on this coast, burn the ships. And unfortunately, we live in a world that doesn't believe in setting the ships on fire. We are like, I need a way back. Yeah. And a soldier who knows they have a way back is a liability. A spouse who feels they are in but with one leg ready to jump out will never reach their full potential in that sense of being fully invested in this marriage. And anything comes and storms come, and that just changes how the marriage goes in almost a flick of a button. So what would you say, how have you been able to overcome that
what I call it, philosophy. And of course, because there's a lot of people who have actually experienced such hardship when that happened, when either the man turned rogue or the husband died and all the assets were in his name, and they're just like, sister, when you're getting married, have your plan. How have you been able to surmount that?
I think the first thing is the reason why you get into marriage. Like, start from the basics. Why you're marrying this person? Have you prayed about it? There are those things that God will bring to your attention.
Is he handsome enough, or is there another more handsome one who might come?
Yeah, that handsome thing passes. After a while, you get used to somebody, you just, oh my God, my heart. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. So, just the reason that you got into it to start with. So that's the baseline. For most people, it's a business arrangement, or it's just how he makes me feel, or I don't know, our families, or it just made sense. But there's so much more. So for me, I'd say that start with having similar purposes. So you need to know who you are first before you get into this space, so that you're aligning your purposes.
Find your life purpose before you find your life partner, because your life partner should be aligned with your life purpose.
100%.
Deeper.
So that's the first one. Then the second one is, guys, you can't do marriage without God. I don't even know how people try, because it has nothing to do with you. If you're gonna go by how you feel or what you think or your needs, it's not gonna work, because everybody can decide, you know what, this is not being done, so I'm not gonna do my part. Then what happens? And that's the reason that most marriages are failing so early. It's about my happiness, it's about me, it's about the things I want. But God calls us to something more. He talks about giving, loving selflessly, doing good for the other person, even when they're not doing it in return. So marriage, guys, is not for children. It's just
it's for big people.
It's for people who are serious about life. So the feelings come and go, but your commitment and the things that you're working to, that's what keeps you guys focused and together and moving forward, even when you don't feel like doing it.
You said something that is probably going to be depressing for many young people. They're like, ooh, may I want to get married when the fire is hot and keep it on fire. Now you're saying that when the feelings go and the spark has died. For many people, they're like, guys, you don't jumpstart the car, you buy a battery. If it's not going to work, buy a new car. So, so how do you explain that to a young person who's saying, you know what, I want to get married to this hot girl, who is gonna remain hot forever, or this handsome Jama who's gonna just be like, every morning I just look at him and I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. And they're like, wow, sparks have quickened. So, what happens when the sparks have quickened?
A very legit question. I don't think sparks are supposed to go. They're supposed to evolve. And that's the problem. You want to feel this fuzzy feeling every day, all the time. It's not there. Love.
Mufasa.
Wow. You just had to bring Lion King into this. Okay.
It's I'm just trying to see the sparks. Yeah.
I don't think that it dies that now you just, brother and sister in that house. Baba Nani or Mama Nani. That's not it. But it has the cuteness that you started with isn't there anymore. It grows into something more. It's friendship, it's exciting. You learn to be comfortable.
You discover that those beers are actually just hair. Like, oh, here's such a nice beard. And it's well, in the morning
he's
they come out
so
with
much money on
the
going to shave them. Now what is he doing? Yeah, all those things. There's a bubble that has to burst. But after it bursts, you realize that there's so much more after that. It's so much more exciting.
So what's that more? Because for a young guy, it's just like, oh, the figure, the eyes, oh, the hair, oh, the shoe size, So, what is after the what is after the spark?
Human beings are created for companionship. That loyalty, that ride or die, that we're in this together. Like storms are gonna come, but we're gonna figure it out together. That consistency, just knowing that you're not in this alone. There's somebody who's holding my hand. At night, for people like me who used to wear socks to sleep, now I'm like, the bed is warm. I don't need to wear socks.
He's your footstool.
He's my footstool.
Hallelujah.
There's so many things that come with it. So it moves from, oh my God, he just makes my heart beat, to this is my partner in life. We're getting all these things out together. You have adventures, hobbies that you have, things you have in common. So it doesn't die like, now we're just roommates, we just sit in the house, we see each other in the evening. There's so much more that comes out of it. So I pray that people would be okay with moving from the shallow kind of love to a love that can actually go through hardship. Because that's the thing. That cute feeling doesn't make people stay through hardship. It's the work that you put into it. It's the friendship that you build.
Yeah.
It's the things that you're working on together. That's what makes a marriage work.
So then it means then Hollywood would not have any divorces because, I mean, you know, you have to be like A-class handsome. Which brings the story of the entanglement. How do you... you know, some of us, we are just kawaii guys. How do you first of all get upset with Will Smith? What are we other men going to do? How do you leave Will Smith and have an entanglement with August? You know? Now, I'm trying to just understand where life is and my sincere prayer for Will Smith. You know, he's been a good guy to us. He made us laugh all our lives, you know. But it just tells you, you know what? I mean, if you ask any lady, probably in their list of Jamas who have, you know, made their hearts throb at one point or another, celebrity crushes, Will Smith would be among the top, you know. Will Smith, okay, wale watu wa mtaa, Tyrese Gibbs, you know, who else would be a celebrity?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, you know, maybe, you know, kinda. And who else? Well, the latest sensations. But anyway, you know, this is Will Smith. Surely, he's been handsome since he was born. You know, it's been like a whole lifetime consistency of just looking good. You know, being a rapper, being a movie star, you know, legend. And then actually, me, I was just like, it's okay, may the Lord be good. Me, every time I wake up and I see my wife next to me every morning, I'm just like, God, I'm better than Will. Okay, I didn't say that. But yeah. So how? Now I don't even have a question, you just talk.
The entanglement issue. I think for me, Hollywood just makes me sad. It makes you realize that the things that you're working towards are not actually real. Because you look at Will Smith and Jada and you think they're the it couple. Look at, I don't know, Beyonce and Jay-Z and you think, you know, they've got money, they've got power, they've got fame, they've got all these things. And then their marriages just are complicated. And for me, that tells me that it's...
And then there's the Kardashians.
Oh yeah.
Wait, just leave those ones.
Next level.
Well, let's come back to Kenya.
So that tells me that it has nothing to do with things. And so for me, marriage is first grounded on God. That's the basic. Because there are times that there are things that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
There are things that I don't feel like doing. But I know that because God says it, there's a reason behind it. And to start with, marriage was ordained by God. It's not something clever we came up with.
Yeah.
It was in the Bible and it was one man, one woman, and this was the rules. You're supposed to take care of her, you're supposed to provide for her, you're supposed to do this, and for the woman, you're supposed to nurture, you're supposed to do, like there are all these things. And when God said it, it made sense. But of course, the world has to come and pervert things, and it's like, who said it's supposed to be one man and one woman? Let's add sauce and spice. And so when we take something good and do it the wrong way, then it becomes corrupted. And that's exactly what Hollywood has done. It's corrupted marriage to the point of most people say, I don't want that. That marriage is such an amazing thing. After getting saved, there's nothing else I would have chosen to do other than get married. Like, it's an amazing journey. I've grown into myself. I've grown in my faith. I think I'm a better person now than when I got married. So there's so many positives to it that are not seen just because we've corrupted it and made it about us.
And because we want to do it in our own terms.
Yeah.
I think for me, the difficulties in marriage work to refine us rather than destroy us. Because many guys are like, you know, me, if I face difficulty, I'm out. But that is part of what marriage is. It makes you, you know, I like what you said, you're a better person now that you've gotten married. Yes, you are good because you gave your life to Christ, but marriage added value to that. And the reality is, I look at myself and I'm like, hey, if I didn't have a wife, hey, Jehovah God, I don't even think I would be saved still. And so, yeah, thank you for holding on, Every morning, the way the Bible says His mercies are new every morning. Yeah, every time I see you, I know His mercies are new every morning. Because come on, Will Smith and you actually. Same. But anyway, but it just tells you that there is more to relationship than hanging out, partying, being able to afford the most exclusive holidays, being able to, have this media splash and everyone's attention is on you, because we all think that when we have this, then this becomes easy. But then the reality is that having these things, because many of us are like, oh, I struggle, we are struggling with, we don't know whether we'll be able to pay rent, we don't know whether we'll be able to feed ourselves, we don't know whether we'll be able to feed our children. And these things occupy us so much so that we forget that these things are not the main event. And so, and we also feel like, oh, if maybe we had these things, then the marriage would be better. But the sums that we are calculating don't seem to add up to that. In fact, there are many people who wealth and power and influence has actually drawn them farther away from their marriage. I remember one of our lecturers saying, it's very easy to, stay married when you live in that, when you sleep in that 6x4 bed, where even if mmekosana, you cannot fail to meet somehow, and then it's a spring bed, and so you can kind of like just roll back to the middle together. And so it's very hard to stay in, angry at each other when you're living that way. It's very hard for you to keep secrets from each other when every morning you drop her or she drops you at your workplace, and then you go, and in the evening you carry each other back home and you arrive home at the same time. It's difficult for you to have that kind, when there's only one meal to be shared and you don't have the money to go out and eat alone, so that you can come back and say nimeshiba, or you're just walking in with a toothpick. When you know that meal is your meal, it's your do or die meal, it's very easy to keep that relationship together. But when these things come, and I remember her saying, you know what, you begin to do well, and then you buy a bigger bed. Now the social distancing begins to happen. Then you can afford to buy a second car, and suddenly the pickups and the drop-offs. Everyone has their schedule. It's harder to meet at home because everyone has their time. Everyone can come wherever they want or whenever they want. And then finally, it says now because you have such autonomy, you cease to be each other's circle. Because now I can go hang out with my girlfriends or hang out with my boys, and we will meet when we are done with these things. And of course, when you have this kind of resources coming in, also friends just begin to gather. It's like guys just sniff money, they gravitate towards the successful. And so suddenly you have all these people who are, hey, my friend, hang out, let's come for dinner, let's go meet at this place, let's do a girls only trip to the coast. Before you know it, things have changed. And so I think the roles are key, and we can shift them to a certain extent. Like you're saying, if you are the one who is earning more, it still works out because you are content. You understand that it's not about being able to muscle up the other person because it's our resource. When it comes to the spark, every car begins with an ignition, but it runs on fuel. We need to find the fuel for marriage, and we need to be able to know that marriage, just like a car, it doesn't matter whether you have a Ferrari or a Maserati or a Vitz. All of them need service at some point or another. And so learn to be able to know that at some point or another, this car that gives you good service will need a pit stop, and it will be expensive. And the more refined the car, the more expensive the cost. And so know that it will cost you also to keep that marriage on the road. And finally, it is not the looks, it is not the wealth, it is not the power, it is not all those things. Well, those things are important. Yeah, when your wallet is bulging, just creates
You
an
walk
aura.
the spring.
You walk the spring. But there are wallets that are bulging that have done nothing for their relationships. And so it is not just about that, but what do you use these things for? And how do you choose to treat each other with or without these things? God bless you. Have a wonderful day. This has been Ewagata Unchained and Pastor Jam.